just got done harvesting my last load of compost from one of my compost bins that I'm trying to empty. And I am actually in the messiest part of my garden, my composting area. And I have got quite an elaborate setup over here. And yes, it is the messiest part of my garden. And I don't think a lot of people show you those parts of their garden. But yes, even us YouTubers have messy parts in our garden. It's not all perfect. But today I thought I'd just step you real quickly through my very elaborate and very fun composting set of systems. I've got all kinds of things going on for all different types of waste, etc. And there is a lot of simplicity in the complexity. Let me show you bit by bit, and I'll explain it all to you. Okay, first let's start with what I think has become one of my favorite composting systems. This is Vago Gardens yard waste composting bin, and I use it primarily for yard waste. And it is made out of solid whatever metal material, galvanized. The paint is great, and the best part of it is this. It closes quite tight shut. Nothing can get in. No rats, no squirrels, no raccoons, nothing can get in. And I love the fact that it is a continuous composting system. So I just keep dumping yard waste in here, greens, browns, twigs, what have you. And guess what comes out of the bottom? So I put these wooden pieces over here just because this is where you open it up and you release the finished compost from it. And I've noticed that things have been trying to get in here. So just to avoid that, I put these over here as a deterrent. You can already see the compost coming out. But there's a door here. Let's see if I can open it with one hand. Yes, I can. Look at that, you guys. Look at this beautiful compost. I actually opened it a few seconds ago and there were tons of worms, but worms are very shy. They will dive behind. But this is beautiful finished compost and it is ready for me whenever I am ready for it. Let me close it up. My shy little worms got to go back to where they came from. Now, let me show you how I set this up. And I've actually got it kind of fairly organized to make it kind of easy for me. So this bin sitting right next to it contains browns usually. So during fall, I fill it up with leaves. And when there are no leaves left, I actually have some tree clippings that were chipped up that I put in over here. We had some tree work done. And so this is full of wood chips and it is slowly decomposing by itself because I water it down regularly. But the main purpose of it and the main reason it's sitting right next to this one is because whenever I put any greens in here, like over here, I've put some tree clippings, fresh ones. I'll put some browns on top of it. That gives it that nice mix. Sometimes I throw food scraps in here, not usually, but sometimes I do just to encourage the worms. And in that case, I do need to put something brown over it. It starts to smell and this really helps keep it all nice and clean and also helps with that proportion of browns to greens so it doesn't get all stinky. All right, so that's this bin over here, and this also is composting as we speak. So I put water in here maybe once a week or so. I might stick something in here and give it a little stir. I don't actually stir it with a shovel or anything, but I put a metal rod in it and I kind of mix it around just to create some air pockets because compost needs browns, greens, air, and water in order to form. So that's what I do. I water it in and then I just keep it covered and it's ready for me again whenever I'm ready for it. And then over here at the bottom, I've got another door that I can open up and I can take finished compost. Right now it's pretty fresh because I just filled it up, but that's an opportunity over here as well. All right, let me show you my Aerobin composter. Now this one is primarily for food scraps. So again, this one is nice and tight. Fort Knox, nothing can get in here. All I do is I open this up, dump food scraps in, put some browns over it, close it up, and then once in a while I come and harvest from the bottom over here. Oh my gosh, this thing is usually loaded with worms. It's a beautiful thing. And then the other thing I love about this is that worm leachate, the liquid that drains from this all collects over here, and I've got a ready fertilizer for me whenever I want to take it and pour it in the garden. Oh, one more thing. This Aerobin was actually free. I got it on Nextdoor. And so there's actually a nice pipe in it. I had to put a PVC one because it was broken, missing when I got it. But hey, it does the job, and it does the job really, really well. All right, one more thing here. So this one that's stacked multiple levels high, I'm actually just storing these on it because I'm in the middle of dispersing one of the piles. But this is what's called a biostack. You can usually get it in 3 levels high, and it's great because as you start scooping out your compost, or as you add more compost to it, you can remove levels and add levels as the case may be. Unfortunately, this thing is not manufactured anymore, so if you've got a neighbor that's giving it away, or you've got Facebook Marketplace, grab yourself a biostack. It is an absolutely fabulous and super sturdy compost pile, and it's so easy to use. I just got done clearing up the last of that. I had one standing over here. I cleared it up, and I'm going to restart one pile over here. I've been sifting the compost. I use a 1/2-inch sieve that my husband made for me, and then this is ready to go in my garden, or it's ready to go in my finished worm bin, and they'll continue the process. Let me show you my worm bins. Yeah, I told you it was elaborate, right? Okay, so these are all full of rich worm castings. Let me show you one of them. So I just basically take from the pile that I was just showing you. I dump it over here, and I always cover with some plastic. The worms like the nice dark warmth. Now you won't see any of them in here. They've all dived under, and you can actually see these are soldier fly larvae shells. So they've escaped, or whatever, they have pupaed and then they have emerged and they are gone. But there is a lot of beautiful life in the soil. It's rich black gold. Look at that, you guys. It is ready to go in my garden and ready to grow some really beautiful plants for me. Let me show you how I separate the worms from the castings. Yeah, this bin actually is probably a good example. Yeah, so what I do is I put a bucket, or you can put a pot or anything, make a bunch of holes in it, and this is what's going to contain your finished worm castings. So you dig it up from the bottom, usually is where the finished stuff is, and you put it over there, and usually it'll have a bunch of worms in it. But when you start feeding on the outside, the worms from that bucket are going to crawl out because they love watermelon and corn and all that good stuff that you're feeding them, and then that thing will be left with just pure worm castings ready for you again whenever you need it. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bins almost full of worm castings. So great. Let me show you one more composting bin. This is the newest one, and yeah, this one took a little bit of mental adjustments for me to get it set up, but I'll tell you why I got it, and that is my tumbler. I do have one more to show you after this, but the reason I got this tumbler, if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that I do not like tumblers because, number one, they are off the ground, and so the composting process, I think, is hindered because there is no way that life from the soil can get into it like it can get into my other bins over there. So I don't like that part of it. Plus, you need to turn it, plus you need to fill it, plus you need to empty it, all of that headache. This thing has just not been worth it for me. In fact, I gave away a prior one that I have. But guess what, you guys? Things change and my needs change, and I have actually got now a new in-home kitchen composter called a Renkel. Let me show you that and explain to you why this thing is such a beautiful thing for the Renkel composter. So this here is my Renkel composter. Now, you actually typically want to put it on the floor. My husband said, no, it's got to sit on the kitchen counter, so that's okay. I've got it here, but the beauty of this, the thing I love most about this, several things I love about it, I'll do a full review at a future point, but I've had this for about a month or so, and it has made me completely get rid of that, you know, that little gross little bucket that you keep on top of your kitchen counter for all your kitchen scraps. Ants get to it and little fruit flies. It's just a mess, smells. You got to get rid of it every day, otherwise bad things happen. Well, the Renkel is the magic that will eliminate the need for that bucket, because guess what? Whenever you feel like it, all you need to do, that's a sensor over there. It opens, dump your food scraps in it all day long, and then it just keeps churning and producing this thermophilic bacteria energized compost material, let's call it that. But basically, this actually contains starter bacteria that heat up the compost and start to decompose it. Now, this is actually really warm. If you put your hands in there, it's almost hot. It almost burns you. But the intent is that it continuously processes your food scraps. You can put meat in here, you can put cheese in here, you can put oils in here, you can put whatever you want in here. You don't want to put hard, large bones or avocado pits, that kind of thing. Definitely no plastics or anything that's not decomposable, but everything else is fair game, which is also the beauty of this composter. And it doesn't just dry out the food, it's actually nice and moist. And oh my goodness, look at that. So I actually emptied this yesterday. It took almost a month to fill it up. And we are a vegetarian family. We create a lot of food scraps. But I took about 5 gallons of it out yesterday to make room for the new. And I put it in my tumbler to cure. Yeah, so that really is the beauty of it. You continuously add to it. So it's not like it batch processes things once a day or anything like that. It's just continuously going. You keep throwing stuff, eggshells, whatever into it, right? And then when it's full, you take it out and then you cure it. And the way that you cure it is for 30 days, you got to let it sit. You mix in about maybe 3 parts of potting soil. I threw in some of the wood chips that I was showing you earlier as well. Just mix it all together, about 3 parts to 1 from the rankle, and then let it sit for about 30 days. You can mix it every once in a while, otherwise it develops that little white fungus, which is not a problem. It's all part of that curing process. And after 30 days, less than that, you will have beautiful black gold compost that you can use just like any compost in your garden. So that's what I am using this tumbler for, is I have filled it up with that rankle compost as well as potting soil, and I'm gonna let this spin every once in a while. Gonna make sure that it has enough moisture in it and just let it cure. All right, I will do a full video like I said about that, but let me show you probably the easiest composting system that literally anyone can do, even if you've just got a balcony. Yep. This is 2 buckets, one sitting inside the other. And I think I set this up maybe about 2 months ago. Really, I just set it and forget it, right? So what I did was I filled it up with leaves, and then I threw a bunch of food scraps into it. I covered it up with some leaves again. And then in the bottom bucket, also I filled a little bit of leaves. And really the reason is if there's any water that is stagnating, I want it to be able to drain off. That's why I've got, a hole in the bottom over there. The one at the top has holes as well, and it drains into the bottom. So yeah, don't ask me why I have 2 buckets. You really don't need 2. 1 is good enough. But let's see what it's looking like. Everything is gone. Literally, it was full of leaves, and now it is beautiful black gold. Let me dig in here and see whether I can find any of my worm friends. Oh yeah, hi there. Yes, the worms have managed to get in from the bottom. It's so easy to make compost, you guys. All you need to do is take a bucket, put some leaves or some brown material in it, throw some food scraps, put some more on top of it. Just make sure you keep it moist so you come every once in a while, and put some water in it. If you want to stir it, you can stir it. If not, you don't have to bother about it. And I've got a beautiful thing of compost that I really put literally 0 effort into. All right, so now I want you to tell me, of all the methods that I showed you just now, which one is your favorite? And also, do you compost? How do you compost? And if you don't compost, are you ready to try the very easy 5-gallon bucket composting system that I just showed you? Let me know in the compost. Enjoy gardening, you guys, and until next time, live green and love your greens.